Hi, I'm Ben. I'm going up my computer with
Hi,
this.
I'm Andrew Bennett. I am a PhD candidate in education technology with an emphasis on computer science education. This is my cubicle. As you can see, it is pretty minimal. I share with another person, so I don't really feel right claiming it as my own space. That's okay, though. The computer monitor, I think, is connected to the audience and to their work. One thing that's good about my workspace is that it is where the CSM1 Center for WF is, so the content creator, instructional designer, graphic designers, and the PhD students kind of hang out, and Maya Israel, the director, has her office over here too. We also have the Congress room where we can have meetings. I actually came into the field in sort of a strange way. I went to a liberal arts college called Gustavus Adolphus College in Minnesota where I was an English major. I then went to a creative writing master's program at the State University in Nebraska near my family. I ended up working at the Writing Center there for my graduate assistantship. There was a deaf student who came in without an interpreter when I was in a class. They figured out something that worked, but my boss wanted something that worked better. I have some physical and learning differences related to nonverbal information which she knew about, plus I was doing some disability-related work already, so I was asked to work on a plan. I found out about universal design for learning through that to develop the UDL accessibility plan for the Writing Center. I also did the training for staff on that, so it was my first time doing a professional development type training. When I graduated, I was involved in some research and instructional design roles in higher education as well as with the Department of Defense Education activity. That kind of got me more into the professional development field as well. I needed a degree to advance up, though. In my M.Ed. program, I took UDL coursework. I also took a class called Designing for Learning by Creating, which was a class on constructionist, but had a lot of computer science stuff in it as well. The professor, Karen Brennan, had a semester internship in her lab, so I ended up doing it the next semester working on professional development issues in computer science education. Chris Dede, who was another person involved in PD from time to time, was a co-mentor from an academic perspective, so was very fortunate to be able to work with Chris and Karen as well as all the UDL people. Several professors thought I had the talent for research and encouraged me to look at PhD programs. I ended up becoming connected to Dr. Israel through conversations with actually a professor from another university who suggested I apply here at Florida. I have been working on a project called UDL4CS where we have been exploring the connections between computer science and UDL related projects. One particular interest has been accessibility, which is what my dissertation is about. We are currently working on a professional development training sponsored by Google that features a number of topics related to disability inclusion and accessibility in computer science education. My dissertation designs a professional development module on accessibility and then studies how teachers are using their training. In terms of the reading, I noticed that Jonason and Land are talking a lot about the maturation process, but maturation for adults meaning more like acceptance of information and ability how meaning is made, which can be influenced by human interaction, behavior, and where meaning is made, for instance if there are cultural influences. For the first one, I was thinking about various ways in which we interact now that may be different from the way the authors envisioned it. First, we have these new technologies now like ChatGPT and other AI as well as robotics technologies. Will these technologies be the same as human interaction? Even something like online learning or taking a class on Zoom can make the human interaction element a little different. Another sort of wondering was how learner differences in communication may influence. There are certainly cultural and behavioral elements in that. For instance, people who are deaf or may have some sort of neurodiversity may have a different way of interacting with the world due to communication differences. There's also diversity in things like language and culture and even other learner differences such as reading speed that I could see being factors as well. In the Merriam reading, I kept thinking about the role of pushing the learner to experience new things, particularly within the self-directed learning context. The focus of self-directedness, of course, is on learner-driven learning about their interests or what they need to know. Control, of course, is a really important question the authors bring up. Yet it could also be important for the learner to experience a broader context than what they think they want to or need to know and all the knowledge they could possibly gain or at least perspectives they could interact with. The Saxon reading, for me, just reinforced this idea between the tension between being efficient with learning and providing a full perspective of an issue. I encountered that early in my job here at UF. We were designing an interactive universal design for learning table for computer science. I remember in some of our early discussions we were talking about the amount of time teachers actually have for professional development and how to balance that within the resource we were creating and what they needed to know. Ultimately, it was decided that it was going to be better to have things that were more relevant to the teacher's job performance instead of being hyper-focused on efficiency, especially in regard to cognitive load. I appreciate you listening. I look forward to learning with all this summer.